Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I hope that your day is going well. I'm just taking a quick break here. Pretty busy day so far, but I want to take a quick break just to share some thoughts with you. I want to talk to you really briefly about getting free from your debts, getting free from your debts. And this is a really, really important video, and I hope that you share it with your friends and they will find some value in this video. So usually when we think of debt, we're thinking of it in terms of financial, commercial, or consumer debt, especially here in the United States or in other parts of the Western world. We're thinking about credit cards and auto loans and mortgage payments and maybe other loans that you may have taken out from the bank. So that's usually what we think of in regards to debt. But I want us to reframe how we think of debt and just broaden the horizon a bit. First of all, debt is anything that is owed by one party to another. Debt is anything that is owed by one party to another. And so when we think of it in that context, it really changes our perspective of what debt is and what it means to be indebted. Let me tell you what being in debt does. Being in debt enslaves you to the will of another person or party or entity. Being in debt removes or reduces your ability to make choices in your life, choices that may even help to improve your life. Being in debt skewers your perception of reality. You always feel under pressure and tense and sometimes fearful and under control. Maybe even as if the world is against you. Being in debt really contracts the time, the energy, and all the other resources you have and you need in life to pursue the God-given dreams and goals that He has for you. Now, there are many types or sources of debt. And many people feel indebted, as I said earlier, to their bills. And that's why they're afraid to switch jobs, because if I switch this job, then I'm not going to have enough money, or I'm not going to have enough resources. I'm not going to have the ability to do some of the other things I want to do. And so they feel indebted to their jobs. I've got to stay here, even if I hate this place, even if I don't like this place, because I feel like I have no options, as I said earlier. If it takes away your ability to choose. They are fearful of chasing their dreams, or maybe they may have even stopped dreaming. You may know people like that. It's like, what is your dream? What is your goal? And they can't state any. They're just trying to get through day by day. Some people feel indebted to their family members and their friends. So they allow them to walk all over them and treat them any way that they want to treat them. To use them and misuse them and to abuse them and to manipulate them into getting their will. Let me make it very clear to you. There is no rule in the family or friendship handbook that says that people have the right to mistreat you and to abuse you, even if they're family members. If they're family members, especially if they're family members, they should be willing to treat you better than anyone else. And oftentimes we don't see that, but there's no rule that says, or bylaw that says that because it's a sister, a brother, a mother, a father, a child, a friend, that they have the right to misuse you. And if you feel that way, maybe because you feel indebted to them, that I have this responsibility. And because I have this responsibility, I have to do this. But I'm here to tell you that that is not true. And you owe it to yourself to break free of that, because in order for you to effectively impact the people around you, you cannot allow those chains and those shackles to hold you down. Some people feel the impact of being emotionally in debt. Maybe they were formerly in or are currently in an abusive relationship, and someone took advantage of them and has made them feel insignificant and unworthy. They make you feel as if you're ugly, you're not pretty, or you're not handsome, or you have no value in life. And that in and of itself is a lie as well. You may find that you are rejecting or incapable of committing to healthy relationships. And so you develop a unhealthy pattern of pursuing destructive relationships, or you may be in a healthy relationship, but you find that you're participating in behaviors that are sabotaging the growth and the welfare of that relationship. And I'm here to tell you that, you don't have to live that way. You can break free of that debt. You may be afraid of moving forward from the past, and because you're concerned about how people will see you or how they will judge you based on the poor choices that you made in your life. God knows I've made many mistakes myself and many poor choices. And there were moments in my life when I was afraid. I was afraid to move forward and to embrace what God had for me, because I thought to myself, if I get out there, what will someone think of me if they find this out, if they learn about this thing? But you don't have to live that way. When you take that step of faith, like I took that step of faith, and when you take that step of faith, you are testifying of the goodness of God. You're testifying of the glory of God. You're talking about His love, His forgiveness, His salvation, through His grace, His restoration. And that testimony will encourage and free others to take steps of faith in their lives. See, until you take the step of faith, see, you may be the one that God wants to use to lead someone else to freedom. But as long as you are living in that fear and that emotional bondage of what happened in the past, or mistakes you may have made, or poor choices, as long as you're living there and you're remaining there and you're allowing that to keep room in your head, you can't get to where God has for you. And so I'm going to encourage you to break free of that debt. There are people who feel indebted to their environments, their communities, and their cultures. They won't step out of what has become the norm in their community, or what people say that the people in their culture should do, or how they should live. And so they have restricted themselves from being all that they can be. Because if you're Black, you should think this way. If you're white, you should think this way. If you're Hispanic, you should think some other way. Or if you're Asian, or whatever your nationality is, your race is, people will try to pigeonhole you into thinking a particular way, especially people who are within your own race or your own culture. And so sometimes you feel indebted that I can't do certain things, or I shouldn't have a particular point of view. But that is a lie. God wants you to be free so you can help others to find their freedom. I want to say that again. God wants you to be free so you can help others to find their freedom. Now, how do you get free? Number one, you need to submit your life to the Lord. Now, there's a difference between believing in a God and knowing the living God of the universe. 2 Corinthians 3:17 says, now God is the Spirit, and not a spirit. God is the Spirit with a capital S. And where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. So when you have a relationship with the Lord, He is in your heart. You are free. That freedom is there. How do I walk in that freedom? I need to pray daily. I need to pray daily. James 5:16 says to confess your faults one to another and pray for one another that ye may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. You need to pray daily. The effectual fervent prayer is that earnest prayer, that fiery prayer that comes from the heart. It's not just me reciting a prayer or, let me just go ahead and get through this. It is an earnest prayer. It comes from the heart. God hears that and He moves you. Prayer is not so much about getting God to move, but it's getting us to move to where God is. I need to meditate on the Word. Let me make this very clear. I cannot meditate on that which I do not read. If I don't have gas in the tank, I can't drive the car. So in order for me to meditate on the word, I need to open my Bible and read it. Turn those pages, look on your phone, whatever it is you need to do. I need to get into the word. And as I read the word, as it says in Psalms 1:1-3, it says, "Blessed is the man who walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law does he meditate day and night." And what will happen when he meditates day and night? Then he will be like a tree that is planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. So I want to be in the word and meditate on the word. I don't want to be meditating on Oprah. I'm not trying to pick up every single self-help book that there is out there. Those things may be nice, but ultimately I need to be meditating on the word, because there is power in the word. Some people say, well, I read my Bible, nothing seems to happen, nothing seems to change. Well, are you reading it as a source of information? Or are you reading it as a source of inspiration? Or are you reading it as a life-changing substance that it actually is? There's a difference in how I approach reading the word. If I'm approaching reading the word as God's divine word, then it will change you. But if it's just a source of inspiration or information, you will not change. I need to then set some healthy boundaries. What does that look like? I need to decide how I want my relationships to look like with the people around me. What do I want them to look like? Well, I don't want abusive people in my life. I don't want destructive people in my life. So I need to set some healthy boundaries. I need to disconnect or reduce the time I spend with toxic individuals. If I know that someone is bad for me, why am I going to spend all of my time with them? I do believe in that we should serve our communities. We should give to people. We should be honorable, and we need to love people. But I am not going to spend all my time with people who are tearing me down, who are telling me that I'm nothing, who are belittling me. I need to spend some time with people who want to build me up. I need to use discernment on who I'm choosing in my life. What is discernment? Discernment means to be perceptive, spiritually perceptive of who's entering my life. And I need to establish time for myself and God. I need to establish time for myself and God. I can't be around people 24/7. I need to take some time out each day so that I can meditate, so I can pray, so I can hear from God, so I can read his word. I need to take time out so I can replenish and renew myself. Okay? Then what do I need to do? Now I need to connect with the right people. I need to connect with people who love God. I need to connect with people who will build me up. I need to connect with people who see the best in me, not people who are always looking down on me and always criticizing me and never have a kind word for me. I need to see people or spend time with people who see the best in me. I need to be around people who want to hold me accountable, because we all go off track from time to time. But having people in your life who are going to help to keep you accountable is essential and is so important. You need that accountability. And finally, I need people who will love me for me and draw out that significance. I'm going to repeat that again. You need people in your life who are going to love you for you and draw out your significance. It's already there. God has placed it in you. And so I'm hoping and praying that this short video will have encouraged you. For those of you who tuned in or who come in a little bit later and watch the repeat of this video, I encourage you to take some time and take some things that I've said to heart. And I really pray and I believe that God is going to touch you, because it's time for all of us to get free. How you doing, my brother? It's so good to see you, man. I miss you, my brother, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you. I'm looking forward to connecting with you again soon, man. I'll have to give you a call either sometime this week or next week. But yeah, it's time for each of us to get free from our debt, not just financial, not just talking about consumer debt. I'm talking about the things that you're indebted to in life that are preventing you or holding you back from pursuing everything that God has for you and receiving the fullness of the blessings of the Lord on your life. All right, I'm Joe Woodley. Thank each and every one of you for joining me today. God bless you until we meet again. Mhm.